Greetings, Fright Nights and Monster Girls. I'm Count Jackula.
And I'm the Horror Guru.
And we just saw Baskin.
Oh man, this is one hell of a fucking movie. And it's one that's been recommended to us multiple times by multiple fans.
Yeah. By the way, we apologize for the unusual format because we're not in the same city at the moment, so we're doing this a little remotely.
I am visiting family. Hopefully I'll be back soon so we can get back to our regularly scheduled vlogs. But until then, I've been doing vlogs on my own for like the past week or two. But this one we had to do together. We had to, because this movie is so amazing, and it is so up like your alley with the satanic cinema shit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just here's the setup. Basically, it's a Turkish film, and 5 cops get a call. It's 5 or 4? No, it's 4. 4 cops get this call.
Hold on. Let's see. You got Boss, you got the kid, you got the 2 brothers, and then there's the driver. So it was 5.
Okay. So you got 5 cops get this call to go to like this remote place in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Turkey, because there's a distress call. Like basically, any officers in the area, head on over. And
we need backup.
Yeah, we need backup. And when they get there, all hell literally breaks loose.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie is quite a literal descent into hell. Like,
oh yeah,
from start to finish.
Yeah, like, without getting into spoilers, to give you an idea of the feel of this movie, there's a lot of phantasm in this movie. And by that I mean it's not direct logic. There's a lot of dream logic, and in fact the movie points this out.
Yeah. It specifically operates on nightmare logic, and I was actually reading a little bit of the director talking about it, and he actually got that kind of nightmare logic idea from Fulci films. So it's actually a direct reference to Fulci. You know how like the Beyond will end with them like in hell out of nowhere, and you're like, what? When did this happen? Like, have they been the whole time? No, wait, that was City of the Living Dead. Either way, you get my point. They have this whole complete nightmare logic, thing going on, and it also kind of speaks to why this movie is as gory as it is.
Yeah. So this is basically a Fulci film by way of the new French Extremity.
Yeah, with a lot of Clive Barker influence too. Very much so.
Oh god, yeah, very Hellraiser-y, super Hellraiser-y. It's got chains. It's got like that weird kind of disgusting sexuality.
Oh, most definitely. And actually, it's the nightmare logic of the movie that I feel like a lot of reviews I was reading got tripped up on. Like they did. Most of them are trying to find some sort of like logical explanation for everything that's taking place, but the movie is literally not operating on logic. It's operating on nightmare.
Yeah. It's not. I don't know what to say other than. No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not a logical kind of film. It's not even as logical as Hellraiser.
No. It's barely as logical as an Argento film, which sometimes operates on dream logic.
Yeah.
It is way more like Phantasm. Phantasm also operates on dream/nightmare logic, and Fulci films in that regard, where you'll just have like random things happen, and you're like, "Whoa, hold on!" It does thematically connect to what's going on, but like, what's real now? Like,
Yeah, exactly. The movie is not in. The movie's not in the business of explaining things literally.
Yeah, absolutely. But on top of that, it's also just like so fucking brutal. Like the beginning of this movie, like leading up to the hell stuff, reminded me a lot of like a cross between like you had like a Reservoir Dogs in there where you had like these 5 guys sitting there talking about bullshit, and then it kind of led into something that reminded me a little bit more like Kill List, where you're like following these kind of awful people. And, which was also a bit of a descent into hell movie.
Yeah.
All right, sorry guys, we had a bit of a technical difficulty, but we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. As you noticed, like, we have a little problem with the video, and it turns out that the software that we're using, it's supposed to capture Skype video directly. Don't use it. Just screen cap. It's bad. It's bad.
Way
Do
smoother,
not.
I can already tell. It's
Yeah.
you know, still a little bit of latency because it's internet, but it's way smoother than it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking, like, this movie, I said this on Twitter, like, this is the horror movie of the year for me so far. Like,
Oh my god, yeah.
like, and we saw some good movies this year. Like, The Witch is awesome, but, like, this way beats out The Witch for me, and I love The Witch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm in the same category. Like, I love The Witch, but man, this movie, I think The Witch might still edge it out, but that's a personal taste thing.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Like, I really, really like stories like The
Witch is really great.
Yeah, but like this, but it's neck and neck right now because, whoa.
And they both deal with, like, the devil, and,
Yeah,
like,
they both deal with the devil. This one specifically deals with hell.
Yeah, and this one is way more negative in that regard.
Whereas, yeah.
The Witch has the girl kind of do this transformation that is negative from the outside, but on the inside is actually kind of good for her,
Yeah. Whereas this one, it's just bad all the time. There's the line in the movie that kind of just tells you everything, which is one guy going, "Hell is a place that you keep with you always."
Well, it's not just keep with you; it's carry with you always.
Oh, carry with you, yeah.
Like hell is not a place you go to. Hell is a place you carry with you always. You brought it here.
Yeah.
So a lot of the reviews I read where they're just like, "Wait, well, what's going on?" or whatever. I'm just like. Did you not get from that line that they were already in hell? Like, that's...
Yeah. From the get-go. From the fucking get-go. And I don't know if we should get into... If that's spoiler territory or not, because the movie is so weird. Like, I don't know if that actually tells you anything. That's
a good point.
Yeah, like, I think
we should put, like, a, like, brief little spoiler warning, like at the beginning of this, just in case for people, like, hey, we go into spoilers on this, but we liked it. Just to warn people, because I really don't want to ruin this movie for anybody, because it is so good.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. So you have these five cops who are obviously not, like, good people. Like, no, they're not exactly terrible people. They obviously care a little bit about each other, which gives them a little bit of humanity. But they're not good people by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no.
Like, at one point, one of them tries to, like, beat up this poor kid for just laughing along with them when they were telling jokes, which was completely awful and despicable. But it kind of shows you what kind of guys they are. It's like the it's like the scene in Goodfellas where Joe Pesci goes off.
Yeah, it is. And one of the things that I noticed that I caught on to right away, which I was really wondering if a lot of people were getting, which is this movie comes with a very specific context, and that is to do this type movie in Turkey.
Oh God, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, when you put it in that context, you're like, how the fuck did they get away with it?
I know, especially in the climate that Turkey's in the last few years.
Like, oh my God, yeah. Shit. Like, this is a film this transgressive coming out of Turkey.
This is even more amazing than a Serbian film coming out of Serbia.
Oh God, yeah.
Which was already pretty amazing.
Yeah. Because the Serbian film is just because it's an Eastern Bloc country. It's an old Eastern Bloc country. It's just Western enough.
Yeah.
To feel like, all right, so we can see these influences, but Turkey's practically the Middle East.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we're going to do this type of movie in Turkey where there's extreme amounts of gore, extreme amounts of violence. The one thing that it doesn't have is a lot of nudity, which is surprising, but not surprising because Turkey is one of those places that has a lot of laws against nudity specifically.
There is
some. Yeah.
There is some nudity. There's one particular scene in which a character has to do something pretty fucking disturbing, at least in the context of that scene.
Yeah.
that does involve someone with their tits out. So, like, that does happen.
So I'm just consistently blown away where I'm like, dude.
And this is also a case where it's not your father's Turkish film. Like, if you
no.
If you're used to like Turkish Star Wars or Turkish Rambo or any of those other like Turkish knockoff movies, this is nothing like that. Like, this isn't even Turkish Serbian film. This is legit fucking.
Oh yeah,
movie.
Yeah, legit movie.
Like most movies wish they were this gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's really shocking. Like you didn't expect them to all of a sudden make this type of leap to make this type of horror movie.
And
like when I say it feels like Fulci crossed with the new French Extremity, I mean that in the visual and filming as well.
Absolutely. And there's a little bit of Argento there, like the use of colors. Yeah. Especially when they start getting into hell and it gets a little more colorful, like,
they give it a bit of that Argento, a bit of that Bava.
Yeah, absoltly. Most definitely.
But they go farther than either of those guys ever did.
I don't know if I dare say they went further than Fulci, because Fulci likes to linger on shit. But they do go pretty fucking far.
They didn't go as disgusting as Fulci, but as far as just like raw violence,
it's brutaler.
Yeah.
Like Fulci does a lot of awful violent stuff and he lingers on it, but it's not as visceral and as brutal as it is in this movie.
Yeah. Fulci always went for the gross out, you know.
Whereas here you're having things happen and you're feeling it when it happens. Like when a character gets his eyes gouged out, you feel every fucking jab.
Oh man. Oh dude, like when they fucking pull that guy's intestines out. Oh my god.
Like a fucking zipper. Like they had it all set up. It's fucking man. And on top of that, you have all these like creepy, almost Silent Hill-esque, like blind, like women with like hacksaws and stuff, just like that move weirdly. They
move weirdly because they don't show it up close, but they let you know that what is happening to these women is they're all surgically attached to guys that are constantly fucking them in the ass.
Yep.
You're just like, whoa.
Which harkens back to earlier in this story when they were talking about this one character was telling a whole story about fucking this transvestite prostitute in the ass.
Yep. Oh man.
One of those scenarios where it was just like, oh, it's not gay if you're the one doing it. Like,
exactly. I'm always utterly fascinated by those justifications.
Well, it's hilarious. People will do this where it's just like if you're the one getting your dick sucked, you're not gay. They're gay. And you're like, wait, hold on.
It's still a dude. It's still happening. Like
this distinction is fascinating.
well, it is because no one wants, especially in like highly religious areas, Turkey. No one wants the stigma of homosexuality because all three of the Abrahamic religions hate it, to varying degrees.
And it's very much the same type of conversation that happens when you get like three supposedly heterosexual macho guys together and they just start going off, and then these conversations will happen.
Yeah, and just one of them's like a little less straight than the others.
Yeah, one of them's a little less, but he's got to justify it. He's got to find a way for his preference.
Yeah.
Even though that like the fucking Turkish police force is the furthest away from like an American bro, but you can kind of see like the connection there.
Yeah. There's still that machismo like thing happening. They've still got to be very masculine, and like the movie even touches upon like how misogynistic Turkish society actually is. God,
big time.
Whoa.
Big time.
Like, yeah, you think America's misogynist, you ain't see fucking nothing.
Like, it's the Middle East.
Yeah. I don't know what to say there. But it is fascinating because the thing that's so horrifying about it is how casual it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about casual sexism? Whoa. Holy crap. And the movie does not sympathize with it. It's just depicting it. It's just like, no, this is who these people are. So definitely. Once we get them into hell.
Yes. But I also like, because it's set in Turkey, there's like subtle differences in mythology on display here. Even though we're still dealing with like the Abrahamic hell and stuff like that, there's subtle differences. Like if this movie were made here, it would probably be like snakes. But in this movie, the thing that brings that's a sign that they're going deeper into hell are frogs.
Yep.
You know, a subtle difference in mythology there, but you get it's the same kind of reptilian kind of,
something associated with evil in this case. For some reason, the area has latched on to the plagues. You know, whereas we latched on to the serpent.
Yeah, you know, like, and it's very common in American like hell themed movies where like people like cough up snakes or stuff like that. Yeah. But in this, it's frogs and spiders. Yeah. And that spider was so Fulci. It was. It was. I was like, is a spider crawling? Yes. Oh my God. You know, but like when we're talking about this movie operates on dream logic, there are parts where we'll literally cut to like almost like the mindscape of a character where he's talking to another character in like this diner, but they just crashed their bus, but they're talking about something in the diner that's happening, and then he'll like wake up over here, and you're like, did that conversation actually happen? But they're acknowledging it like it happened.
Yeah. And it's it's a completely non-linear film. Like they'll end up in a scene and they'll talk about conversations they haven't had yet. And then they'll be in another scene having a conversation about the scene that they just cut from, even though these two things are obviously only connected through the psyche of the characters.
And the line between their psyche, reality, and whatever the fuck is going on in hell blurs even more when they get deeper into hell. And he starts like walking around corners, and next thing you know, he's in like his childhood nightmare.
Yep.
You know, which by the way, for critics who saw this movie and didn't understand that it was operating on nightmare logic, it literally opens up with a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
It opens up with a nightmare, and they have this entire conversation later on about dreams and nightmares and their connection with the dead and their connection with the spirits. And then later on, you have the guy saying, you know, like, hell is something you carry with you at all times. How did people not get this? Like, it's
yeah. It's really weird. You're like, how did you miss it? It's right
to
there.
To be fair, a lot of critics did love this movie, but there was a lot that felt like it fell apart in the third act, and I don't see it. The only part that didn't quite work for me was the very last bit. And I mean by like after he escapes the house. Oh, the last shot, the thing that
the
created the Sisyphean loop.
Yeah.
Sisyphean.
The Sisyphean, right? Yeah, the Sisyphean loop. Like that was the only part that didn't quite work for me. Because despite the fact that it works in the context of the theme of the film, but I felt that there needed to be, that was such an obvious place to go. I felt like there needed to be one last disturbing twist.
I could see that. Yeah.
You know, like I felt like it just needed one more thing. Like one of the things that they foreshadow that doesn't happen in the movie is when they're walking through the house and there are all those pictures of things, and you're like, okay, we're going to be seeing all of this. There's this one picture that is very obviously a demon, but that never shows up. And I was kind of expecting that it would at least show up briefly. You know,
I can see that.
You know, like as he's hit by the car and he looks up into the sky, maybe like, you know, it flies overhead or it looks down on him, or he is killed in a pattern that resembles the shadow of the demon
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I would have been down with that.
Yeah. So, but with that said, if we're not specifically talking about that, I don't understand why people don't like the third act of the movie.
Especially once the father shows up.
Oh my God.
The father's awesome.
Holy crap, that guy is gnarly.
Yeah. He has an actual skin condition that has made him look that way, and it gives him such a unique presence. And he is such a good actor that he carries that presence that his face imbues.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I don't know if they dubbed over his voice, but just his physical performance is amazing.
The guy is seriously 4 feet fucking tall, but he felt like he was 7 feet tall on the screen.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. His presence really does fill up the frame.
And the movie's not even hiding the fact that he's that short.
No, it points it out.
Yeah, it points it out. He gets up in these little boxes, but he still feels taller than all the other characters.
Yeah. He's got this very obvious, you know, like monster transsexual servant.
Yes.
That carries a stoop around that he can stand on so he can look people in the eye.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I love that he's trying to get all of them to just, you know, give in, to become one with the hell. You know?
Give in, give in. You'll see
obviously
it all.
One of them he's trying to turn into one of those blind lady kind of killer things, and you know, and the other one he has something else in mind. You know?
Yeah, and I love his reaction whenever one of them fails, which he's just like, he's just not even really disappointed. He's just like, oh well,
another one. Well, you can clearly he's gone through this a lot, given how many fucking people he has in tow.
This is every day for this guy. So like, no, I believe
he's like a guy that goes out to that cop car out there, send more.
More
cops.
Yeah, send more cops. Just send him in. You know, we're good.
We'll find him tonight eventually. We'll find the chosen one.
Yeah. It's got to be one of these guys. Got to be one of them.
Gotta be. Absolutely. You know, and I just love how fucking creepy that old police station where this all happens is. They essentially go to like an abandoned police station that has been abandoned for years.
Like back before it's basically back before it was Turkey. The days of the Ottoman Empire. That's like pre-World War I.
Yeah, that was so far back in time. I was wondering if there was another context to Ottoman I didn't understand, because that is so far back in time.
Yeah, that's basically 100 years.
It looks like it's got to be more modern than that. But then again, it looks like a fucking dungeon, so I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Ottoman Empire was not like a rinky-dink operation. Like they had a lot of shit. Yeah, it was an empire, legit. You know, it was that period of time was the British Empire, the German Empire, and the Ottoman Empire.
I have the most stupidest like mental connection to the Ottoman Empire, specifically Ernest. When Ernest would like do those like voices of like the old soldiers, it's like the Ottomans are coming. We gotta do this. Gotta get the high ground. You're like, I don't know why my brain when I hear Ottoman Empire automatically goes to Ernest.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Which is so stupid. It is such a disservice to the Ottomans themselves, but what can you do?
Well, that's comedy for you, you know.
Yep.
Oh man, but yeah, like it's really interesting. Like the thing I love about this movie is you get a really good representation of what the Turkish people physically look like.
Oh yeah. Well, automatically you can tell that this is not a movie made in America. Everyone everyone looks different, and not just like skin color. I just mean like facial structures too. You know.
Yeah. They have
everyone's
got
very pronounced noses and stuff. You know.
Yeah, they're the kind of people you only find in that region.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there are a lot of gypsy features. There are a lot of.
That one dude they run into, like after
the big dude is obviously the father of that family. Whoa, that guy's face was amazing.
Yeah, I was looking at that guy. I'm like, I could stare at this guy all fucking day. He's fascinating looking.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it obviously supposed to be like the harbinger, like the. Like,
that whole family's the harbinger. You know, I love.
I want to know what the translation of what that little girl said was, because like. Everything else in this movie is subtitled except what that little girl says.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I think is that everyone else is obviously speaking Turkish.
Yeah, and she must be speaking something else.
I believe she's either speaking Romani or French.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know absolutely because I speak neither of those languages fluently. It sounds like it.
If someone out there watching this video knows the translation of what the little girl in the family before they go off into the police station says to them, if anyone has a translation of that, let me know, because I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, okay. So I was afraid that maybe like the subtitles had just failed.
No, it was obvious she was supposed to be speaking a different language, but because we don't speak either language and they're both from the same region, it sounded similar enough to where we're like, wait, hold on, did the subtitles break?
Yeah. One of those things where like if you're in a creepy area and like Mexico, but the main characters are American, don't speak Spanish, then you don't translate what they say.
If you have a movie set in Mexico, but you have someone speaking Portuguese and characters aren't supposed to understand them, but we as Americans can't distinguish the difference very well. unless we speak fluent one of them.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's kind of like. Or even like if a Chinese movie is mainly in Mandarin, but there's a character speaking Cantonese. Like,
yes.
You know?
Oh man. Well, that barrier's weird too, because the two languages sound just enough alike that there are a lot of translation errors that happen in daily life, because you're just sort of like, oh yeah, you asked me about this, and then you give them an answer and they're like, what?
That's not what I asked.
That's not what I asked. You know, like, I don't need to know where to find a 7-Eleven. I'm asking you where the bus stop is, you know, like that kind of
Imagine
shit.
how more confused you'd be if the communists hadn't taken over and declared it a national language.
Well, it probably would have just gone on the way it had been.
Probably.
You know, which is essentially what it is now, which is still like Mandarin is considered the language of the upper class, whereas Cantonese is considered the language of the commoners.
Fucking communists.
Yeah, well, yeah, they really didn't do much to destroy that, because the problem is Chinese administration is still all done in Mandarin.
Well, because Chinese culture, for being a communist country, is oddly like built for capitalism.
It is. It really is. It's a very strange fit. It's a very strange mix. Like, you would never have thought of that. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
you know.
Odd. But anyway, to get back to Baskin.
Whoa, yeah, that guy's face, all the fucked up things that happen. I really, really like this movie, despite any problem I have with the last shot.
And there's a lot of reason to like rewatch it like over and over again, because there's a lot of little things that carry on into multiple viewings. Like, for example, it could be very easy to miss in the first watch of it how many times the man in black is hiding in the background of a scene.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, because he's there almost from the beginning. And there was a point where they were like driving the car where I could have sworn I saw him in the background, like as like they were driving by it.
Yeah.
You know? I have to rewatch it to double check it, because I was so into the movie I didn't want to pause and go back. But like, and there are many times where you're like, wait, is that like a shadow on the wall or a stain on the wall, or is that the man in black? And then at one point you can tell the movie was banking on you thinking that, because they play on it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, there are times when it's just a painting on the wall.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, is that going to come to life? Oh, let's do something else. Yep, it came to life. Oh God.
You know, so the man in black just constantly like lurking in the background. Like the first time he like really started to like show up, when that one guy was in the bathroom, like I had to, like, at that time I did have to go back, because I'm like, wait, is there a guy standing back there, or is that just like a thing on the bathroom stall? Like,
yeah, because he's so like just so in the background, just watching, and the only thing that gives him away is the fact that his eyes are open.
And that's how you do it right. You make it to where it is subtle enough to where you can distinguish it if you look closely, but if you're not, you could easily miss it. If you make it obvious, then you don't feel like it is as exciting to discover that, you know?
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why I miss why I wish that the horror movie theater experience would kind of come back in popularity, because those moments in a theater are big, because one guy, because only so many people notice those details immediately, but one of them will always go, or inhale or go, and then what happens next? Bunch of other people notices someone screams.
Yeah, that's what happened when I saw Paranormal Activity and when I saw Insidious in theaters. You know, because Insidious and Paranormal Activity have a lot of little background things and stuff like that, some of which you can miss if you're not paying attention. And that is exactly what happens. One person goes like, oh my God, what's that? And then the rest of the audience goes, ah! Like,
yeah.
They notice it, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And that's what made those
shit.
two movies like really great theater experiences. You know, like we could use some more of that, but the problem is that there's way too many movies trying to ape on those two movies' coattails and not adding anything to it. Like,
yeah.
And not even doing it as well as those two did.
No, not at all. Oh, geez. Like, okay, I want to end this video a little bit differently. So very quickly, thumbs way up. If you like extreme horror movies, you've got to see Baskin.
And
you have got to see this movie. Oh yeah. Like there are movies that
cinema.
There are. This thing, in my opinion, is actually more extreme than Hostel.
Oh, it is. Well, Hostel is about as extreme as you can get and still get a theatrical release. It and Green Inferno. This is beyond those two movies.
Oh yeah,
and I love those two movies, and they're both extreme. But this is beyond them. This is more within the realm of stuff like a Serbian film or Martyrs.
Yeah, Martyrs.
In terms of Extremity.
Yeah, the I think probably the best as far as like how far they actually go probably would be Inside.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Because Baskin does have that ghoulish tone. Yeah, it's mean as shit, but like. I don't know how to say it other than like you're watching someone very calmly enjoy torturing somebody. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thumbs up in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Oh,
this man. Is this right now is the horror movie to beat for me for the rest of the year. A movie has to top this. Because this is going to be my number one at the end of the year, unless something better comes along. Like this.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. This. Yeah. Because and if you want to like shock an audience, you have to pass this bar.
Yes.
You have to pass this bar now. Like that's it. Like this is lower than Martyrs, but I don't know what to say because that's 10 out of 10. This is 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like
a movie might be able to come along and terrify an audience without shocking them this much. Like, who knows? Blair Witch might be able to terrify an audience, but I doubt it'll be able to shock me the way this is.
No. I don't think it's going to be as shocking. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way. Probably,
especially since
hopefully
it's a theatrical release. A movie like this, even if it was released theatrically, would be cut down like hell. Like even for an R rating.
Yeah. This would
doesn't
normally
even touch the unrated cuts of most theatrical R-rated movies.
Oh yeah, no. This is NC-17 minimum.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that there's very little nudity. But everything else is just so fucking rank. It's so rank, like I don't know how else to say it. You're watching it, you're like, oh.
It's that one of the opening scenes of the movie, one of them's actually a dream sequence, but then when we cut to the main characters proper, we have this guy basically cutting this like raw meat, and that is one of the like most pleasant things you'll see in the movie.
Yeah.
Him cutting the
and
raw
whoever
meat.
Oh man, sound designer, 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Whoa. No, you want to watch this with the lights out with the fucking best sound system you've got, because holy crap. They really took what?
I love the music in this movie too.
Oh yeah,
like it's very subtle for most of the movie, but when it kicks into like the bigger moments, like the swelling of the music, like it's really good. I like it.
Yeah, super good.
And it reminded me a lot more of the music from Italian films than anything.
Yeah, it did. Having you mention that, they took Fulci as an influence. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you would, like I see that 100%.
Well, in one of the interviews I read, he literally said he got into movies because he loved Lucio Fulci so much. Like,
ooh.
Like this is a guy that is literally authentically like, without Fulci, there would be no Baskin.
Got it. Oh, it's good. Oh man, that does my heart good.
Exactly.
To know that a movie like this can be inspired by Lucio Fulci.
Yep.
Oh, man. So earlier on Twitter, I asked people to send us some questions about the movie. And, we'll just start at the beginning and we're going to answer them. Alazia asks, how kinky do you think this movie is? Very.
This is like Hellraiser kinky. Like straight up, like everyone's... Everything your mom worries BDSM is.
Yes. And beyond.
Everything. Okay, I should say everything your super religious mom thinks BDSM is.
Yeah, if your mom's already a kinky sword, she's probably
exactly.
like, "Oh, honey, that's not how it goes."
If you got like one of those nice hippie, much more progressive moms, they might be turned off by it, but they're not going to be like, "Oh, that's the devil." This is.
Yeah. But yeah, check it out, because this movie in many ways is the pure definition of erotic as given to me by an ex-girlfriend named Cole. Mm-hmm. Cole had this great definition of erotic, which she was like, it's either something that's very beautiful or very repulsive.
Nice.
And if it's both, that's pure eroticism. So this has pure eroticism in it. Now that doesn't mean you're gonna want to beat off to it.
No.
But the thing is you can feel that recoil in your gut and that kind of like, tingle.
Well, this is one of those rare movies where the way it films some of the violence actually did make me feel like the camera was lingering on it almost like seductively.
Oh yeah. This was a situation where we were literally filming it like porn.
Exactly. And it was one of those things where I was like, no, this movie actually is filming it that way. And you know what? It doesn't make it more erotic. It just makes it more horrifying.
It makes it more disgusting. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Like that moment. Not everyone has this, but a lot of people do. Which is that moment. The moment you first see a porno, like a porno movie, the first reaction a lot of people have, myself including, is throwing up.
I could see that.
Like the first time you see a guy fuck a girl in the ass on camera, you're like, whoa, and you don't even know where that comes from, but it's coming from that place. Your body is kind of recoiling, and once you've gotten over that, then that's when you start to really discover how you really feel. Because that's just, I don't know how to say it other than that's just the excitement,
If anything, this is the movie that Satan beats off to.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of those like, yeah, it's pretty good. I give it a B.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Neko, is it gonna be good? It is good.
This movie is amazing. Like, if you like extreme films, and I am a fucking connoisseur of extreme cinema,
yeah,
you will love this. This is more for the horror fan that likes stuff like, Martyrs, like Itchy the Killer, like, like a Serbian film.
Yeah.
Or Human Centipede. If you like these kind of like just fucked up, almost endurance test style movies, then you will like this movie. But this is one that definitely, a lot of people like say those movies don't have artistic merit. This, much like a lot of the ones I just mentioned, has real artistic merit.
Oh yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Like all, in my opinion, all three of the Human Centipede movies have artistic merit.
Oh, they do. They do. Well, the thing is, the thing that people don't get about those movies is they're fucking satires.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they are fucking jokes. Like, that is literally like Tom Six fucking with everybody, and it is amazing.
Yeah. I will always love the three taglines. 100% medically accurate.
Yes.
100% medically inaccurate, and then 100% politically incorrect.
Yes, amazing.
And I fucking love that because the first one is filmed very sterilely because it's a doctor.
Yep.
Because he's making fun of the God complex.
Yep.
The second one is filmed like a scratchy, awful, horrible black and white movie because now he's making fun of horror movies.
Well, because within the movie it is a snuff film in which someone is watching.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's supposed to feel like that
because it's what he imagines himself doing while watching the Human Centipede. Like, it's one of those big fuck you endings where it's just like it was all in his head. He's just crazy.
Yeah.
Human Centipede 3 is like that's just filmed like a legit movie, actually.
Yeah. That one is filmed like a legit movie, but I think the thing that it's really making fun of is stuff like Natural Born Killers.
A little bit. It is that movie more than anything is a fucking takedown of America and American politics.
Yes.
Like the fucking guy running the fucking prison is basically George Bush. Like, it's just
George Bush with a German accent.
Yes. And he's talked about that. He's talked about like the parallels between the American government and Nazism and the prison system and stuff like that. And that's all intentional. It's all intentional in the movie.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we got another one from Malaysia. How about this? Favorite effect
in this movie?
Yeah, in Baskin.
Oh, okay. Favorite effect in this movie? That's a tough call.
The problem is I my favorite visual in the film, I don't think is an effect. It's just those guys' faces.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
The fucking
father's
father's
face
face.
and the harbinger's face, you know, like they're just so gnarly looking. You're just looking at them and you're like, I am fascinated. I could, yeah, like you said, I could just watch this guy's face for an hour.
Well, it's hard to say. Like the line between effect and performance is like really is really messy in this movie because there's a
It
lot of
is.
things where people are in these like really gnarly makeup, but like what makes the effect is the fact that they're like orgying on the floor and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're very few. They're
But like
very
something that I
few
know is pure
effects.
the two pure effects that I really really loved in this movie is that weird fetus baby effect. Um, whatever the fuck that thing was with the skull face. I love that. That was like
Oh my god, that was the part of the movie where I lost it because I was like,
she just fucking like lays a fucking fetus skull face
yeah,
egg.
she just fucking gives birth to a fetus in a fucking like metal pan. It just goes,
Like 5 seconds after fucking too. So
yeah, yeah.
and the other one would have to be the fucking like zipper like gutting of that guy. Like, it's like that
Yeah.
lungs for effect. But that's the money shot. Like more than any other gore scene in the movie, that is the money scene. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. So yeah, that was all good. Lacey has got a lot of questions actually.
Of course.
But some of them are some of these are pretty good, so I think I should just go with it. At
Go
any
for it.
point during watching it, did either of you think it might be frog people? Can't say that I did.
Well, I knew going in it was like from what everyone talking about the movie that it was supposed to be something to do with hell. So I just kind of assumed while watching it that the frogs that were showing up were basically like snakes in American movies.
Yeah.
That was just my assumption. I didn't actually make a connection that it would be like frog people, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's the equivalent of seeing like snakes or roaches or flies.
Yes, or like in like a western where you fucking see like a crow.
Oh yeah. What would you and Guru have done differently?
Well, if I was a police officer and I'm supposed to investigate a fucking compound, I really have no choice but to go in. That's my job.
Yeah, I don't know.
But in terms of things I probably wouldn't do, I would definitely do differently. I wouldn't beat up a boy for just laughing at like our funny story. I would probably try to pay more attention on the road and not fucking hit a fucking thing in the road. What else would I do?
The only thing that I probably would have done differently is if I was in a very specific situation, which was that like that situation where he has to like fuck the goat-headed woman. I don't think I would have had it. He's all like, "No, don't make me do it." I probably would have been like, might need some Viagra for this one, but
I was actually surprised he was able to get that up.
I know.
Because not only can he not see what's happening, like just like random people are like touching him and shit, and he's like,
yeah. Oh yeah, it's like, oh whoa.
And like the fucking searing pain in his eyes at that point, and the fact that he'd be losing blood at that point, it'd be really hard to like
keep it up. Yeah.
You know, but that's one of those like science in a hell movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, maybe what House Rage meant is what we had done differently if we were making the movie.
We were making the movie. Well, you already mentioned earlier what you would have liked at the end.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I would have changed the last shot. Like that's
other than something like that, I'm kind of happy with the movie. Like, so I'd be cool with an addition at the end of like actually having like a demon thing show up. I'd be down with that. But other than that,
like that last shot of Safe Havens.
Yes, exactly. That was just beautiful. You know, but outside of that, I can't think of anything that I would do differently. I kind of like this movie the way it is.
Yeah, that's kind of that to me. That's kind of the that's kind of my litmus test for like how much I like a movie, which is how much would I have done differently.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's like no, I would barely touch this movie, then it's like it's obviously a good film.
Well, there are times where I've seen a movie and I'm like, if I had made this movie, it'd be a completely different movie. But that doesn't mean this isn't a great movie. Like this is.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like you would have done something different from the with the premise, but
But what they did with it was awesome. You know?
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, this movie is actually pretty similar to like a script I had written back in college about like these four gangsters going to hell, and
Yeah.
you know, this actually like goes to some similar places here. So
Yeah, was that Brotherly Love?
that was called Internal Damnation at the time.
Okay.
But like, it's not something I'm ever gonna make because that movie went way too far with stuff that I can't afford to make, even if I were to get the money for a movie.
Yeah.
It's a madness kind of thing.
You know? Yeah. Like, yeah, there's that scene where like the two main characters fucking, like, they do head over a crest and literally there's the fucking landscape of, you know, the ninth circle of hell.
Well, yeah, I had like the fucking river of blood, like a literal river and shit, and there's like fucking like goats and shit dead in it and stuff like that. But it's like that.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, this is awesome. Oh wait, this is $50 million.
Exactly. It's one of those like, I couldn't do that. This guy was smart. This guy wrote a movie that was a lot simpler, you know? Like,
oh man. John Smarticus asks, "Oh, Smarty! Oh man,
Smarty!
I
love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's check out his channel. He does Let's Plays. Pretty good.
Right.
On a scale of Tusk to Martyrs, how fucked up was it?
Martyrs,
much closer to Martyrs. I would say just under it.
Tusk is way more fun and humorous and stuff like that. This isn't that kind of movie. This is way more Martyrs.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That means you should check it out. You absolutely have to. You know, you can't call yourself a horror fan unless you at least watch this movie. You know, what kind of American are you? You know, gotta watch extreme Turkish horror film.
I can't wait for the Turkish remake of Baskin.
No, dude. I think we should do an American remake of Baskin, but film it in Turkish with American actors that don't speak Turkish.
Yes, we should get Brad Jones on this.
Oh my god,
Brad Jones and Ed Glazer would be totally in on this.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. God, now that I think about it, if we Ed Glazer and Brad Jones got together to make a movie, what else could it be?
American Basket.
Yeah, just be American Basket. Just be like, everything's cheap and shitty, but kind of like weird and like, what the hell's going on? We could be the new Astron 6.
There we go. Wait, that's something that Astron 6 got to do next. They got to do a Turkish like a knockoff like parody movie.
Oh man, actually what they're doing, what they did next is they broke off into two different projects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe the one I'm really looking forward to, I believe, is called The Void. The way they described it, it is their homage to 80s. It's their homage to Fulci flicks.
Rock on, I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I liked their homage to Argento.
Yeah. Yeah, but this one's like specifically like Fulci, and the way they describe it is they're like, look, we know that we're kind of known for these cheap knockoff movies. This one is supposed to be legit. Whether or not it gets into theaters is one thing, but it's supposed to be made like a legit movie.
Which will be awesome if they do it, but I find that funny that they're choosing the Fulci movie to do
I know.
Because they could literally just make the movies they normally make, and it would already feel like a Fulci movie.
Yeah. They reference Fulci. They also reference like Beyond the Black Rainbow. And the way they described the plot is they were like, yeah, it's kind of supposed to be like The Shadow Out of Time.
Ooh, sounds cool.
You know, and I'm like, whoa. They did a whole like Kickstarter campaign. Yeah, it's either Indiegogo or Kickstarter, I can't remember. But they did a whole campaign where they were like, hey, we're doing a Kickstarter campaign for this movie. Now, we need to make something firmly clear. The movie is funded. We don't need your money to make the movie. What we need is your money so that we can start fabricating now. Because that's the one thing we're running a little short of is time. And we're sitting on our hands during pre-production because everything is done except for fabrication.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys will kick in money now, then we can start building shit. And
rock on.
Yeah,
they make good content. They've proven themselves. So
they actually demonstrated the things that they were working on.
It's not money being thrown away.
No, it's not. And the funny thing is that you look at it and you look at the stuff that they're building that's even in the pitch, and all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, these are the guys that the first thing they did was BioCop.
Yep.
And like they're bringing that back.
Oh man, I wish they made a BioCop movie. I'd watch
BioCop.
That was a great trailer.
Yeah, so good.
So let's probably move on to the next question, though. Let's see. What
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think that's it. Looks like that's the end of the list. So, Baskin
Robbins, 36 flavors of hell.
Oh,
actually, how many flavors are at Baskin Robbins?
32.
Okay, 32 flavors of hell.
Hey, we got the Patreon, so kick in $1 or $2 a month so that we may continue Satan's unholy work. Also, we do a semi-regular stream about once a week, and the announcement of when the next one is announced on my Twitter. So go follow me on Twitter and you'll get the announcement on when the next stream is and who's going to be joining me. So go do that, and we will see you at the next one. Hail Satan.